Reproductive rights. Reproductive rights refers to the legal ability to make decisions about if and when a person wants to have a child. This is also sometimes called reproductive autonomy. Having reproductive rights means having the power of the law to protect a person's right to make their own choices about birth control, pregnancy, and having children. Women's reproductive rights have been a battleground for centuries. Across the globe, in societies dominated by men, women have traditionally had no recourse if they got pregnant and wanted to end that pregnancy. Their rights to seek a termination of their pregnancy were either non-existent or very limited. It did not matter if their pregnancy was due to rape, incest, or if their life was at risk. In various countries, this is still the case. Some 25 million unsafe abortions are still performed each year across the globe, and some 68,000 women die of unsafe abortions every year. Of the women who survive an unsafe abortion, 5 million will suffer long-term health complications. The struggle for reproductive rights and for women to gain control of their bodies has coincided with the general struggle for birth control, women's rights, and social justice. In social climates that tend to see women almost solely in terms of motherhood, women have constantly argued that being a mother or not is their choice and that they should not be unduly pressured to give birth. Due to the work of abortion rights activists everywhere, by the mid-20th century, discussions about abortion went from something hidden and secret to an open discussion about an issue that women everywhere have had to grapple with on an everyday basis. Social movements, education, and protests have led to major changes in many countries, mostly in a direction that respects women's rights. Around 50 countries have liberalised their laws since the start of the 21st century. In Europe, 95% of women now live in a country allowing the termination of their pregnancy upon request. But it has not been easy or a smooth ride, and many gains were only made recently. For instance, it was not until 2018 that Belgium passed a bill that removed the regulation of abortion access from the criminal code and eliminated previous requirements that required women seeking abortion care to say they were in a state of distress. The social changes that have taken place to provide reproductive rights to women have taken many pathways. Often, it has been a combination of top-down efforts through new laws and legislation and bottom-up efforts from women and supportive men exercising their democratic rights to organise, educate, lobby, pressure and protest. Grassroots efforts have included many initiatives to help women get the information they need to make an informed decision about if, how and where to have an abortion and what steps need to be taken. Sometimes this has meant being creative. Women on Waves was founded in 1999 in Amsterdam. Since then, it has sent so-called abortion boats with mobile clinics to countries where abortion is illegal and taken women into international waters for a medical abortion. It has sent drones and robots and developed art projects, given sex education and medical knowledge workshops, and helped women via the internet. In a major gain for reproductive rights, the European Parliament, in a 2021 resolution, reaffirmed that abortion must always be a voluntary decision based on a person's request, given of their own free will, in accordance with medical standards and availability, accessibility, affordability, and safety, based on WHO guidelines, and calls on the member states to ensure universal access to safe and legal abortion, and respect for the right to freedom, privacy, and the best attainable healthcare. The same resolution also urges the member states to decriminalise abortion, as well as to remove and combat obstacles to legal abortion. At the global level, the World Health Organization in 2022 released its abortion care guidelines. These emphasise both human rights and women's rights. In this document, the World Health Organization recommends the removal of all legal and policy barriers to abortion. This global and widely respected organisation also points to evidence showing that restricting abortion access does not reduce the number of abortions that take place, but that it only makes abortions unsafe. However, despite such important insights and gains, certain countries are slipping backwards. In Europe, especially Poland, has been backsliding under pressure from conservative religious forces. Poland's Constitutional Tribunal in 2021 banned access to abortion in almost all circumstances. Together with Malta, it is one of only 2 European Union member states that has not legalised abortion on request or other social grounds. In the United States, abortion became a legal right with the famous Roe v. Wade decision by the US Supreme Court in 1973. The court, the highest legal authority in the United States, concluded that abortion rights fall under the right to privacy. This decision ended an era of underground networks that often provided information to women on abortion hidden from public view. Though US states were already towards making abortion legal in the 1960s and 1970s, women often had to appear before panels at hospitals that would judge their requests for an abortion. On the same day as Roe v. Wade, another case, Doe v. Bolton, ended the practice of hospital panels to see if a woman qualified. In a blow to women's reproductive rights, in June 2022, the US Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade and reversed half a century of gains in the area of women's reproductive rights. Now it is individual states that decide if abortion is legal. The recent backsliding in certain countries shows that just because gains have been made in the past, it does not mean that they are permanent. It remains necessary for people to organise themselves, take action, and help provide women needing an abortion with the information they need, and in many cases, with help accessing an abortion far from their homes and families.